Hey everyone, Alice here, and we are going to have our movie night for January 2018. I even wrote the right date on my book. I'm kind of impressed because you know how it goes when you're filling out checks and you're writing things down in the beginning. It's like 18. You take that 7 and you kind of like build it around a little bit to kind of hook it and turn it into an 8. And everybody knows you did it wrong, but you know, it is what it is. Today, I thought we would focus on one little word because I had posted a little picture. It said, what is your one little word for 2018 in our group? And oh my goodness, people were excited and responding. And I thought that it would be a good thing to chat about a little bit. And we would watch Allie's videos. So there's 2 videos that I thought we would watch. The one is 18 minutes and the other is like 6 or 7 minutes. So that gives us about half an hour or so of video time to watch, and that gives us time to chat too. If you're not choosing a one little word, this might be something that inspires you to kind of look at one little word and see how you can use that in your own life. And if you are choosing a one little word, you might find some inspiration along the way that leads you to, you know, do something more with it or find a way to incorporate it into your life a little bit more. So to get started, we're going to watch Allie's I think we're going to watch her previous albums because she kind of talks about all kinds of things like that. And I think they go back to like 2018. It's like an 18-minute video, so it's not super long, but she kind of shows you all the pages and stuff that she's done in them. So you kind of get to see those completed albums. And then you can see, we'll watch the next one, which is the short video with her 2018 flip through. And that one, you'll kind of get to see how she sets herself up for the year and kind of goes through some of that. Of course, she's trying to sell her stuff, and whether, like when we chat about it, I want to know whether you've taken the class, whether you finished the class, whether you bought it and didn't really use it. I had really good intentions, but let's just talk about the words and stuff like that after we watch her videos. Sound good? Okay, so I will put on screen share. Just a warning, you will see my desktop. It looks like the inside of my head. So just be warned. Let's see. Oh, which one is the right one? I think it's this one. Oh. Why is this? Okay. It usually takes me to the window. This is the one, right? There we go.
This is Allie Edwards, and in this video I am going to take you on a little journey back through my One Little Word albums. So I started keeping a One Little Word album back in 2011. That was the first year that I offered the One Little Word workshop and have continued to offer it each year since then. And so these albums are the culmination of my own adventures and journeys with my word since 2011. This is the main way that I keep my word visible for myself throughout the year. It's the way that I reflect. It's the way that I just take a much closer and deeper look at my experience with my word, and it's the way that I keep it visible for myself. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So when I first started doing the workshop in 2011, I was doing it at the 8.5 by 11 size, and so you'll see a few years of 8.5 by 11, and then a couple years ago I moved to the 6 by 8 size. Within the workshop, I always offer downloads that you can print out. So the download would have included this outline that is then printed on cardstock. The first couple years, there were some different sizes, but for the most part, I've continued to ask a lot of the same questions each year, and I love that part about it. The prompts have remained similar from year to year because my experience with each one of my words is completely different. So I must always start off with the reason why I chose the word, a look at what the definition is, a look at it in the thesaurus, and then asking myself, what do I want to invite into my life this year? So 2011 actually ends up being a year of big change for me. So when I would have started this album, I wouldn't have known what was going to be happening to me towards the end of the year, which is when Chris ended up leaving and then ended up starting the process of going through a divorce. So it's always interesting for me when I look back on this and see what I had written down, what I had been focusing on, you know, the letter to myself of right now you are in 1 year, you know, where I hoped you'd be. This is very personal journaling. It's very, you know, personal words, not necessarily things put into a traditional scrapbook. And I'm not going to talk about what each and everything that I wrote in here, but I wanted to flip through these so you could get an idea of what kind of things we're doing in here. Generally, in One Little Word, there are different lenses that we use to see our words. So we use the lens of photography, which is a very literal lens, but the idea of looking for our word through the lens of the camera. We look for our word through the lens of just writing and reflection. We look through the lens of our word often with collage or some sort of more tactile, hands-on experience. And I talk about using the combination of the head and the heart and the hands to connect with our word. So this is kind of just a look here. And I always end usually with facts and feelings and how do you want to say goodbye to your word. So that was my first year doing the workshop, and my word that year was light. When we were using 8.5 by 11 sized albums, I could fit more than 1 year in here. So I think I usually had 3 years of 3 years of class content, or 3 years of my own experience with the different words. So my next, then in 2012, my word was up. And so again, a combination of you know, kind of more scrapbook style things, plus all of the personal journaling, the combination of photography, and how do I see my word through the lens of my camera. The ideas of opening up. So this would have been the first year when I was on my own then, after Chris had left. So a lot of reflection about who I am and who do I want to be, and what is happening, and you know, lots of this like personal documentation, the letters to myself, things like that, which are prompts that continue to come up over the course of the year. Here's one of the collage examples. So the idea of meditating on our words while we are creating something with our hands, and what is the resulting thing you get from that, and how does that experience impact your relationship with your words. So these are the kinds of things that we're talking about each month in the workshop, and the idea again is that it's not complicated. We're not trying to make it be a complicated workshop. It's not supposed to be something that takes up a lot of time, but it is the opportunity for investing in your relationship with your words. So like that's then wrapping up my experience with up there, and then moving on to 2013, where my word was open, and then kind of the beginning of stamping and opening up and bursting open, all of those sorts of things there. Doing a vision board is something that we do most years. Sometimes I have put it into the album itself. Sometimes I have taken pictures of the larger ones that I've created. Taking action on your word, figuring out something that's very specific, focusing on, again, the lens of photography, having that in there. Word messages to yourself, we usually talk about that in some way or another. You know, what does it mean to be open? What does that actually look like? These albums too are, you know, the invitation here is just a place to be able to keep these stories. You know, to keep a record of your walk with a particular word over the course of a year. So people put all kinds of different things in here. These are pretty much just the prompts and my reactions or responses to those prompts as well. So that was the first 3 years of the workshop, and then let me show you. We'll just keep going here and I'll share the rest of them as well. This is 2014. In 2014, my word was thrive, and so we'll look at a little bit more about that. Again, switching up a little bit each time in terms of the different things that I'm using, the way that the questions are presented, but like I said, it's often the same questions, but you have a different reaction each year based on what your word is. What do you want more or less of? Again, the opportunity for reflection, the opportunity to decide what do you want to actually take action on? What are your intentions physically and emotionally and with your relationships and creatively? And how does your word impact each one of those areas? Here's one where it was a picture. I just took a big picture of the actual canvas that I made that hung on the wall in my office. The lens, seen through the lens of the camera for my word. We almost always do an in progress run along with theirs that would be the collage one for each one of the different words. Celebrating and savoring, and how can you celebrate what's real right now. This is actually one of my favorite pictures. So this is back, when was this, 2014, of all 5 of the kids, one of the trips that we had taken during the time that Aaron and I were dating, and they're so small, and now like Simon, he's so huge. I love pictures of the backs of people too. So a place to hold those kinds of things, a place to reflect on what do I want to give this month, what do I want to celebrate, and what kind of self-care do I want to do, all related to whatever my word is that year. We often do quotes or song lyrics too, so finding things that resonate with you based on what your word is. Letter to myself about the word thrive. Gratitude, using gratitude as the lens for this experience with your word. Again, that's all from 2014. That's wrapping up 2014. Some years I've done action reflection cards too. These are, and I don't always finish everything either, and that's okay. But here's some of my reflections from each one of those months in 2014. 2015, my word was give. I think might be missing a page in here. Here was this is actually a blog post that I wrote about why I chose the word give, and so I included that in there. And then I had the definition and the invitation and the quotation. Again, all of this is covered way more in depth in the classroom itself and in the in those monthly prompts. But I wanted to give you just an idea of what have I been doing for the past 6 or 7 years, or however long I've been doing this as a workshop now. But like I said, you can see these similar things popping up each month, each year. But again, it's through the lens of whatever the word is, right? A different word results in different writing, different experience. This was a note to self here, the give word there. Celebrating, giving, self-care. Again, so that was similar to the year before. Here's some again through the lens of photography. This one always pops up at least once or twice, even within the year itself, because I think it's such a powerful way to see, how do you see your world? And on these ones, I literally said, I see give in this photo. I see give in this photo, and here's why for each one of these as well. I liked doing that one as well. Then here's like what I learned, who I am, what I know. We're all afraid. We have to get to the point where we understand it doesn't mean that we can't also be brave. That was one of Brené's quotes, and a big picture of myself. Note to self, I wrote on here with a Sharpie, and it has yellowing around the outside, so just something not to do necessarily is use a Sharpie on your photos. But lots of other pens that are better for that. And then again, ending the year with facts and feelings, and this was 2015. So then in 2016 is when we moved to the 6x8 albums, and I'll pull one of those out here to show you my 2016 and then 2017 as well. So here is my 2016 album. This is when we first started offering actual products to go along with the One Little Word experience. So this year, this is 1 year then within this album. This one got super thick because the dividers that we had for the months were chipboard, which we switched then in 2017. So product-wise, we're always learning, right, of things that work or things that don't work. But these then, you know, it's kind of fun to be able to offer products to go along with this experience as well. So 2016, my word was whole, which is one of my most favorite words. And so this again was the first year of doing it in this size, and switching up the size I think was really great for me. I liked it quite a bit. I liked having one album for the year. And it also, again, the prompts were still similar. If you sign up for the workshop this year, the prompts will still be the same. That actually is just part of the process for me, is having these similar prompts. When you go into the classroom every year, I'm recording new videos, new messages that are all related to whatever my word is. So you're hearing my reflections on my experience with my word, even if the prompts are similar. Definition, invitation, what am I letting go of? What am I hoping for the year ahead? That sort of, again, the invitation to document this. I mean, the process of documentation for me through the monthly prompts is a huge part of how I experience life with my word, and it's one of the ways that it keeps it front and center for me. And I think for me, having the responsibility to the community of doing these is a discipline that I am really thankful for, because it has really helped me in some really challenging times in my life. And by giving me this opportunity to have a place to put this stuff, to have a place to talk about my experience with my word, to have a place to talk about the things that are hard and the things that are easy, and to have it be in a really caring community environment that is paired with stuff that I love already, right? Photography and writing and intentional products to go along with it as well. So in this one, it was, you know, what does whole mean to me right now? So using smaller sized cards there, again, through the lens of photography. This month I decided to be really quiet with it. I didn't add additional words. It's just the pictures this time. And I switched that up from time to time as well. Again, here's then June, where is our progress month, and we're always kind of monitoring how are things going halfway through the year, what's working, what's not working, what do I still want to accomplish throughout the course of the year or experience, because we don't really look through everything. We're not looking at this as like you're either a success or you're a failure, right? It's all about being in progress, and it's all about the journey way more than it is the destination too, of what is this experience of living with a word for the year? What does it look like to you? What are your ups and your downs, and what's the message that you need to hear this month as well? So here are a few more of those. Then we did one about this chapter. What does this chapter of life look like? What are you struggling with? What are you celebrating? What is the season about? Things like that. And then coming into the idea, this was the first time that I did this prompt, which was about rest and pace and paying attention, and what, how much are you resting, and how much are you, where are you finding joy, and what is the pace of your life like, and how is that related to your word, and how can you make that related to your word in the ways that you want to be living your life. The music lyrics theme there, finding some words that were coming through songs. Knowing and loving, what do you know, what do you love, what have you learned, what do you believe related to your word. Again, it's just the invitation to document, right? It's the invitation to write some things down related to your word and your experience with your word. So then facts and feelings, and what do you want to remember? So that was 2016, and then I'll give you a look here at my 2017 album. So 2017, my word was connect. And so this is a look at what I documented this year in the album itself. Again, always starting out usually with a picture of myself, some sort of self-portrait, because what this is, again, is right, this, the work of becoming yourself. That's part of what having a word is. That's part of the invitation to the experience. And we talk so much about progress over perfection, and how again, it's the journey. I mean, so much of that continues from year to year. And sometimes I just put random things in there that I'm wanting to remember for myself. So this last year we had these half page dividers, and so this year we had full page ones available, and a few other new products as well, talking about practice. What can you practice? And then being in progress. And the products then are all geared towards the same kinds of messages. Then this was the first year, or maybe the second year, I think, that I did some of the collages that I wanted to do actually in the album itself. So changing the size, mixing it up for myself a little bit. I liked doing it in the album, but I also missed having the larger size as well. And then in April, what is it, asking myself questions, right? Getting curious about my word, learning more about my word, and what would it mean if I was really connecting or if I was really disconnecting, which was part of my experience with my word this year. Again, seeing your word through the lens of photography, figuring out in June where you're at for the mid-month progress there, the mid-year progress, collage opportunity. And like I said, like I'm not reading you what I wrote and all of these. When you're in the workshop though, I do read my journaling and talk way more about what the actual experience is. And in this video, I just mainly wanted you to get an idea of what do we actually do in this class. I think a lot of people ask questions about that, and I've never in all of these years filmed these walkthroughs so you could actually see what these albums look like. So hopefully this will answer some questions for people, getting more of an idea of what are some of the things that we do in here. And also, there's a lot of people that participate in this project that don't do this piece of it. They may respond to the prompts in a journal. They may do it just in a completely different way, and that's totally welcome and okay as well. This, for me, this is just a part of who I am, this kind of documentation, which is why I do it in this way as well. So, and then wrapping it up with facts and feelings and what do I want to remember, and then action and reflection cards for each month in the back, some that I missed, some that I had there as well. So I hope this is a helpful video for you guys, and absolutely invited to join me on this journey of making your word visible in the One Little Word workshop. Hope to see you there.
Okay, I'm back. So we've had some good chatting going on. Sorry, I don't participate that well. That's going live. I'd have to work it out on my phone or something. It tends to cause me issues. So I'd rather have my internet work well and do one thing. Yeah, so Jeanette has posted in here, maybe we should ask everyone's one little word. And so we've got some responses in there. Allison said that mine's balance, and I took her workshop in 2011 and 2012. Jeanette said, I finally decided my word is order. I saw that I was actually looking in our Facebook group because I had posted the image where everybody could post, and like underneath that image, I think we've had 68 comments in our group, which means that it's just something that people are interested in, and it's something that a lot of people are participating in, whether you're doing it through Allie or whether you're doing it on your own. And I just thought it would be fun to kind of go through this and really have that chance to talk about it with our Scrap Happy sisters, and then kind of maybe we can kind of motivate each other and try to keep our words in our life. So I thought that would be fun. Jeanette says, I love balance too. Definitely always working on balance in my life. And Allison said, it's such a challenge. Even today, we got our eldest weekend tournament schedule, and it's, are you taking her or are you doing the swim lessons for the other two? Yeah, it's busy with kids going in opposite directions, and your kids are involved in so much. So Deidre says, as we discussed, Allison, we are twins. Loving balance as my word this year. And Allison said, ooh, a vision board, good idea. And Yeah, the walkthrough, Allison says, I love this walkthrough. You can see her evolution as a person. And, like you get to see not only the projects, but you get to see like how that helps her like deal with just regular life stuff. And Jeanette says, I've never done her class. I just winged it. So I paid for it one year and I had really good intentions. And I got to like, I don't know, February, like it was really early. And I think I looked back at it one other time, but there was just so much involved that I'm like, I just couldn't. But it was the year that I chose the word more. And I just really loved it. Like I loved the idea of more so much, and it was my first kind of attempt at it. And so even though I didn't do all of the activities with it, I really felt that the word, it worked for me that year. Like it really, I felt like I brought that into my life a lot more, and I loved it so much. I picked the same word the next year. I'm like, I'm keeping more. That's my word now. I love this word because I just always, I want more time. I want to spend more time with people. I want to do more things. Like for me, that was the word that I always resonated with. And this year I'm going with the word cozy because I just feel that, I'm not done with the word more. I don't know if I'll ever be done with that word. It's like, but, it's time to have something that is motivating in a new way. And I love the idea of cozy and bringing things into my life that make me feel warmer, make me feel like that my surroundings are cozy and comfortable and inviting. I want my relationships to feel like warm and cozy relationships, and I want my life to be like a big warm hug. That's kind of how I described it, like a big cozy warm hug. And I'm like, wow, this is like a really different word for me. It's kind of stepping out there. And I was kind of inspired by that word, hygge. It's the Danish, cozy kind of word that encompasses all parts of life. And I was inspired, but I wouldn't pick the word hygge because I'm like, what is that word? But I'm taking the good parts of hygge and using cozy to kind of encompass that. Teacher said 2014 was the first year I purchased the workshop and had good intentions. Jeanette says good intentions could be my life story, LOL. Allison said I was pretty good in 2011, but only got about halfway through in 2012. Now it's more of an inner mantra. I may have to dig out the old prompts and make my own experience again. Bonnie, we're talking about what Allie Edwards, One Little Word, and Jeanette says she hasn't done an album, but she's scrapped it and did some art journaling. And yeah, Bonnie, I thought your word was so cool. So I was looking through all the comments on our Facebook group, and her word is gusto, which I'm like, that is awesome. And that's what Jeanette says. It has so much energy. Yeah, such a fun word. So, and some more comments. Jeanette says, I have old happy planners I might convert to a One Little Word album. That could be fun. Like I don't have enough projects on my list. And Allison says, I still got my album from 2011 that I've been adding my 8.5 by 11 layout to every year. 10 rooms, I could easily add more documentation to it. Yeah, so I think that it's just inspiring, right? Bringing this word and having it as this overarching part of your life to kind of help guide you through this year. It's kind of exciting. And I do have one more little video. She does a flip through of her 2018 album that she's prepped for it. And I thought that this would be like, we're going to Allie because really she's made this idea so huge in the scrapbooking world. So it exists outside of scrapbookers too. In fact, if you listen to Gretchen Rubin's Happier podcast, she talks about having a word to set your intention for the year. Like you see it in a lot of places, but I don't know of it before Allie. That's my first introduction to it. And she does this big project within our scrappy world. So that just kind of felt like let's just go to the source. It feels like we're going to the source, and totally, like, it might not be the source. Like, people might have been doing this well before her. She might have found this somewhere, but it just felt like it's right. So how about if we look at her 2018 album that she has set up? We can have a look at that. Then, you know, I'm not going to encourage anybody to like go out and buy her class, but in the replay for this, I'll post up this replay video with the actual links to the 2 videos that we're going to watch here. But then I'll also share some of the comments. Like, I've taken a few notes of things that you might want to include in your own project if you're doing something. So whether you do it as a class, whether you're like, oh, thanks, Alice, for doing up like a little checklist of ideas, any of that, that's good. And if anybody here has done one little word projects and they want to share pictures, maybe under that same post that what's your one little word for 2018, share some stuff in there about like previous projects that you've done too, and that'll give us a chance to kind of keep everything kind of in one place for right now. Sound good? Sound good? Okay, well, let's watch the next little video, and I think that that will be fun.
Hey, this is Allie Edwards, and I recently did a video walkthrough of all my past one little word workshop albums, and today I wanted to show you how I'm setting up my one little word album for 2017, or excuse me, for 2018. As always, these products are available on my, or in my shop, and some of them have potentially sold out by the time that you're seeing this. You do not have to take the workshop to participate in one little word, but if you are taking the workshop, I just wanted to show you guys how I'm setting up my album in advance, kind of how I've laid things out, a little bit about what products I'm including that are outside of the main kit. Nothing is required, as always, but I know that it's nice for people to see kind of how am I setting this up to begin with. So I am going to use the gray album this year. There's a gray album that has one little word printed on the outside, and then there is a pink album as well. The album comes with a bunch of page protectors. We actually included the amount, or increased the amount of page protectors this year to accommodate a couple products that I wanted to include each month. So let's go ahead and take a look. I decided that I wanted to start with one of these tags. These tags are an add-on item. They're not included in the main kit, but they come with, there's 2 of each ones, and they say things like, we tell ourselves stories in order to live, note to self, keep moving forward, and then the big in progress. And there's 2 of each of them. And on the back they say things like believing I can, progress not perfection, working on me, building my life. Again, these products, all the products that we've been designing for this project in particular, are designed to encourage you to document your own story and to document your experience with your words. So I think I'm going to start out with that one this year, and have a little bit of something written on there as well. The dividers this year look like this. They're full page, and then they have the months along the side. These are sold out already, and we will not be reordering them, but again, just don't let that be a barrier to stop you from participating in the project. One of the reasons why we included additional page protectors this month is because these cards are included in the main kit. There's one for each month, and it's a gold foil with the abbreviation of the month, and then on the back of them it has the story of this month. So there is a built-in opportunity to document something specific from the month, and this is new. I haven't done it this way in the past, so I'm putting one of those in for each month along with whatever the prompt is going to be. For as many of you guys know, when you begin this album, we talk about the reason why, and we talk about what we want to invite and the quotation. So these are all included, or excuse me, these are part of the main kit, these cards that were these 3x4 and 4x6 cards. This one is one of the 3x4 transparencies. These are not included with the main kit itself, but it is something that I'm going to be incorporating into my album. And then we also have in the main kit, there were some 6x8 pages included this year, and so those are in January as well. And then I went ahead and just kind of added in a few things here and there for the months ahead. I don't know exactly how this is all going to flesh out, but this will give me just kind of a basic idea in the beginning. And I am putting 2 page protectors in for each month. So there's, you know, two pockets or 2 pages of pockets for each one. March coming in, I have the Yes Heart. There's the March card with story of this month on the back. Usually in March, that's when we do, well, sometimes it has been when we do the vision board, so we may be doing that again this year. It looks like I actually only have 1 in that one. April then, and like I said, these may move around, but I just wanted you to get an idea of where I am putting things in there, at least for the start. There's another one of the transparencies there. There's May, transparencies there in that one. And then June. June is the month where we talk about being in progress. So I put the progress transparency there, and then the pages that were included in the main kit. If you don't buy the main kit, we will have these available for you to print digitally. The digital kit, or there will be digital pieces included as well. And then we're moving into July. Put the stars in there for that one. August, this just gives you a basic idea of how I have laid it out so far, and I'm happy to answer questions if you have that about them as well. September, I put the Life is Made of Stories for this one. That would also be great in the Project Life album. I would love to begin my year with that as well. October, and I don't always set these up in advance. This is the first year where I really kind of laid it out a little bit and looked at my past albums, where I've done which prompts, and that we kind of lay this out, make it happen in November, and then coming into December there as well. And I just put one of the striped ones in there for now. And then there will be a 6x8 one that we didn't include in the main kit, but it will be a printable for you to print out as well. So that's just kind of a look at where I am at with products inside my album so far. Things will probably ebb and flow throughout the course of the year, and I'll potentially use some stamps, or I'll potentially use some of the other embellishments that are included in the main kit. We have a lot of circles, the patches in there. There's circles. There's these really cool rubber banner pieces, which will be fun to add on somewhere throughout the album as we go along. Like I even like it on one of the transparent pieces there. And then there's the circle story cards as well as numbers. So we'll be playing with those things throughout the year in the album as well. But like I said, this is just a starting place, so you can kind of get a sense of where am I putting some of these products in the album. And as always, you're invited to join me in the One Little Word workshop.
Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so that was just her little album that she has set up for this year, and you can see like she's showing off the products that she has produced, and I can't see myself buying one of the kits to do it with, but I have considered like getting the class and actually going through the steps of the class. Jeanette says, so I just looked up her workshop for One Little Word, and its price is $31. So that's for the workshop. That's not awful, right? Like $31, and it helps you carry that throughout your year. But you know, I'm also thinking I could do without it. So I'm just undecided, and I think if I'm undecided right now, maybe that means no, right? If I'm undecided, does that mean no? Jeanette says for the entire year plus printables are included. So that would be a bonus for sure. Yeah, so that's the One Little Word as far as Allie goes. I like the books that she puts together. I think that the intention for them is so good, and the way that you reflect on your life. I think that's the biggest part of this One Little Word. It's that reflection on your life and looking for ways, just small ways that you can make it better, whether it's, the intentions or working on the progress. And, I loved in the other albums when she showed those that she doesn't always finish it. Some things don't get done. And it's like, that's real life. Like, that's real life happening there. And I thought that was really good too, because, if it was all just 100% perfect, you'd be like, oh my God, this woman is a machine. Like, how does she even do it? Allison said, I added a bunch of links to the one little word post on Scrap Happy on our Facebook post about past year's words. Thank you, Allison. That's so good. Yeah. And I think it would just be, it'd be nice for us to carry this forward. So I'm going to put this on my list where once a month I'll have a spot for us to kind of talk about our words. Cool? You guys excited about that? I think, and maybe having that group environment with our group, a check-in, yes. So we'll have one little word kind of carrying us forward so that we can support each other with this. So talking about products, like she obviously has her album products, but one thing that I've seen that is really cool, I was just going to show you. I have to share my screen, but not the sound because it's just a thing and I want to talk. So I don't need the computer sound. Okay. So I have open here a window. Let's see if I can move this out of the way. From Colorcast Designs. Let me look it down so you can move it. See, Colorcast Designs. Color spelled not like the Canadian way, just saying. And she does acrylics and wood veneers and stuff like that. Jessica Upton is her name. I actually met her at the Scrap Gals reunion in the retreat that I did in Salt Lake City last year. I went to that. And oh my gosh, she's just a sweetheart, guys. But she does words. So she calls this one the big word. And hopefully this is going to come up. So in the big word, you actually submit the word that you want. Sorry, I'm pointing at the screen because you guys can't see that, but that's really funny. I'm doing it anyways. So you submit the word that you want. And she custom cuts it out of opaque or matte or birch. So you get your word cut out of some different materials, like whatever material you want. And these ones are quite large. So, and it depends on how long your word is to the pricing and stuff. But the base price for a 5-letter word is $10. And I think they go up a little bit more. So let's have a look. For 6 letters, it's an extra 50 cents. So if you're up to 12, then you're adding $3.50. But that's reasonable, right? She's basing it based on the amount of product that it's made with. It takes a little bit to come in, but I thought those were kind of cool. So they'll be between 5 to 11 inches long. So quite large. A large word. So it's something that I'm considering. And if I just go back here, the little words, you can also custom order a set of little words. And so you get some wood veneers, you get some different ones, and she has them specifically labeled. So there's a gray one, and there's a white one, and there's a black one, and you get these veneers with your word etched on them. So I thought that was also really cool to get them. It's $11.99 with a maximum of 15 characters. So that's I thought that was pretty reasonable. So, and I've ordered things from her before. It's super good. I'm not an affiliate or anything. I just thought if we're doing this project, somebody might want to see this. So that was just a cool one. Yeah, and then there's other things that I've seen people do, like Melissa Donahue in our group, Stuckley. She does Origami Owl, I believe, for the jewelry, and I've seen her do necklaces and bracelet pendants or bracelets so that she can keep her word right on her. And let's see, I haven't seen a ton of other things as far as that. I think Allie has an option where you can get your word cut out of something too. I just thought it was really fun. And honestly, if these places have custom words, even if you're looking for something other than your one little word. Maybe you want something for in your house. That's a pretty great time to grab one of those too. So I'm actually thinking about a couple things like that. Allison said you can get bracelets and necklaces with your word. And yeah, teacher's like, that's cool. I want to order. So that's a really fun thing that, if you feel like you need to do some shopping for your word, another thing you might want to do is use like a Cricut or Cameo or something to cut your word out, and you can use vinyl to stick it on stuff. There's a lot of options and ways that you can bring your word in. Actually, that's a really fun idea. I might cut one out and stick it on my mirror or something like that. That would be kind of fun. So yeah, just different options. And I'd love to hear more about how other people are bringing their word in. If anybody wants to talk and tell us about their word, why they chose it, like just please take your microphone off of mute and go ahead, take yourself off of mute, and we can hear you. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fun project. And, I'd like to use our group as an accountability group because, even if I participate in like the one little word group and you can talk about it there, those aren't people necessarily that I know, right? And maybe I could get to know a few of them, but I know you guys, like you're my Scrap Happy sisters. So for me, that makes a difference. And, it helps me to relate a lot more. So I think that kind of stuff matters. So yeah, that's one little word. Really exciting. Now, I know I said I was going to do the draw, but I forgot to do the little things. So I do have a draw, but I really don't have all the names ready. And I'm really sorry. I totally meant to and slipped my mind. So instead, I will talk about a couple of cool things. And I'll do the draw during the happy hour. Sorry, guys. Let me just write this down. Draw. Okay. So a couple cool things. I don't know if anybody has listened to the most recent episode of the Scrap Gals podcast, but on there, at the very end, there is a little bit where I was able to submit a little promo for Load. So that was really, really cool that I was able to share that on there. Last month in December, I was actually on the Scrapbooking Inspiration podcast with our own Melissa Shannon, and I was pretty excited to talk with her because she's been Scrap Happy member, I think, since the beginning of Scrap Happy. So I think she's been in longer than I have. But yeah, so we talked on the Scrapbooking Inspiration podcast, which is one that she hosts, and talked lots about Scrap Happy and Load and the things that we enjoy. So that was kind of fun. So if you ever have a friend and you're like, hey, listen to this podcast, and it's a good way to kind of share the love of Scrap Happy. And you can share that specific episode I shared a link in our Scrap Happy Facebook group, but I can share that again. Yeah, and then I will be coming up on another podcast. Actually, I have a chat with someone next week, and I can't wait to tell you guys more about that. I want to wait until it actually happens and I've talked with her, but that's going to come up. Allison said that Melissa was one of Lane's first instructors for True Scrap. Awesome. So yeah, I have another podcast coming up that I'm going to be on, and I'll give you guys all the details about that once I've done the interview. I'll give you guys a little bit of sneak info about it. So that's kind of exciting. And then next week on the 18th, I am off to Creativation. So I will be doing videos there of the booths and all the new products that are being released. So I'm trying not to spend any money. Like, this sounds crazy. I'm flying out to this event, but I'm not spending a bunch of extra scrappy money this month because all these new things are being released and they're going to be amazing and magical. If you guys want to have a sneak peek before my videos, Tori Bissell at toribissell.com. That's that doesn't type. Sorry, toribissell.com. creativation.com. She did an amazing post where she rounded up a whole bunch of the new products that have just been released. So if you can't wait until I'm there next week for the videos, go and have a look at her post. It's so good. Tons of work to put one of those posts together. So it's amazing. And I encourage everyone to see it. Yeah, but I'll share all of those posts. And then afterwards, sneak peek, I will be on the Scrap Gals podcast to talk about the things that I saw at Creativation. So that's another thing that we have going on. And then Load. Oh my gosh. Are you guys excited? It's coming so quickly. I do need some sample pages still. So is my husband the cameraman? Yes, my husband is totally the cameraman. He's coming with me. He's got it's like a big camera, like it's fancy. It does like 4K video or something. I don't know. It's like some fancy thing. I'm like, I didn't even know what 4K video was. Actually, we didn't even have a card that could read 4K video. One of our videos that we made last year, we couldn't even use because he recorded in that and we couldn't download it. Like, it was nuts. But yeah, it's very exciting. He's going to come and Allison's like, I'll be glued to my Instagram that week. Yeah, it's so next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend is when all the action at Creativation happens, and there'll be so much going on. Hopefully I can get a little bit better internet this year, because last year that was painful. The hotel that we stayed at had free Wi-Fi. Yeah. If you can get it. It was awful, but we're staying in a different place. I'm not staying in the ghost hotel this year. Yeah, so then, what was I just saying? Creativation, seeing all this new stuff, going to be on the podcast. Load. Okay, Load. A little more planning this year. Yeah, a little. It was kind of last minute. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to go. It was really undecided, but we've made it happen. So we're going. Load. There is a sign up. If you go to scraphappy.org and you log in, there is a post there where you can sign up for Load. In fact, if you log in there under the previous loads, I think I put the link. Is that where I put the link for everybody? Yeah, no, I can't see Gwen's typing. So yeah, if you click the everyone button, then I'll see it. Yes, and Instagram stories. So I am sharing a little bit of information about old load challenges on my Instagram and showing off the layouts and kind of talking about the inspiration and the prompts. So thank you, Jeanette. She said I did a fabulous job. I appreciate that. And I've got more of those to come. I just grabbed some pages and I'm like, okay, what was the prompt for this? I just want to get them up there. I'm just so excited. So Load pages, I do need some sample layouts. So if people want to do sample layouts, I'm going to be putting the request in the group today. Layouts. And yeah, so then I should be able to get the prompts to everybody, I think by Friday. So I'll give you like about a week or so. It's like, one page. So I figure that's probably fair. Allison said, I started to watch that on Instagram, but my internet had a hissy fit. So yeah, I totally understand. That happens here all the time. Yeah, that's about all that I can sneak peek, talk about. Creativation's coming up. Load is coming up. Yeah, lots of good things. And if you want somebody to, if you're have a friend or something that needs to come and do Load, give them the code. I think probably the easiest one to give them is Instagram 15. If they watch the Instagram, they'll have that code. But there's a code out there so that they can save $15 off of the cost. So that's fun too. Anybody have anything else that we should have talked about that we didn't? We're going to have our happy hour. I should know when that is, right? I have it on one of my calendars. Here it is. Okay. So let's just discuss quickly happy hour. It's before I leave for stuff. Oh, reunion plan? Yeah. hopefully by the end of this week, I have so many balls in the air right now. It's crazy, crazy. So that sounds exciting. Happy hour on the 16th, we're going to have our happy hour, and that is at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Scrapbook Live is on the 27th. And that is a Saturday, because Saturday went really well in December, and I was hoping that maybe Saturdays are just maybe better for people. That's at the 27th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And then if you want to come and talk about planning with me on Tuesday the 30th, Plan Your Best Year session at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And the December one, like, oh my gosh, it was so motivating for me just to look back at the successes and failures of 2017, but then to look forward to 2018. And I can't wait to keep going with this. It was so good. But you have to make sure that you're on the email list for that one. That one's not just for scrap happy people and stuff. So that one's on my Scrapbook Wonderland site. So scrapbookwonderland.com/plan is where the sign up is. Once you've signed up once, you're good. You're good to go. Okay, so that's the plan. That's what's happening. Lots on the go. Really excited. I'm super motivated about things right now, which is good because there's lots to do, and I want to make this year really fun for us, and just be able to spend more time with our scrap happy sisters so that we can do our scrapbooking, right? I want everybody to be motivated and encouraged and supported so that we can do the scrapbooking that we want to. Like, it's fun to talk about it, super fun to talk about it, and it's fun to buy new things, but it's when we actually make the pages that we kind of give ourselves the pat on the back and actually get it done. So that's what we're here for. And Allison says, that is one of my top goals this year, to actually get actual scrapbooking done. Perfect. Then we're on the same wavelength. Let's make it happen. And it's going to be fun. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed movie night today. And I can't wait to talk to you on the 16th for happy hour. And it's going to be, let's make it a good month, guys. Let's go do some scrapbooking. So I'll post up in the group. Oh, I want to make it to a reunion this year. So we're looking at Denver. Sneak peek, we're looking at Denver. We're trying to make Denver work. Okay, that's the plan. Hopefully. That's the start of the plan. Okay. Yeah, I love giving sneak peeks. Let's talk about sneak peeks all the time, guys. I wish I had those all the time. Okay, I will see you guys soon, and I hope you have an awesome day. Okay, bye.